Ancient aliens, the facts. The theory that aliens visited Earth in ancient times is not new. In fact, some of man's earliest records of history mention star beings and sky visitors. These are ancient Indian epics that talk about a great battle with men in flying machines, nuclear-like explosions and large powerful weapons. Written over 2,000 years ago. Are they just a good story, or did they witness something in the sky back then? There are also interesting parallels to this concept in the Bible. It is true, some ancient monuments demonstrate a thorough knowledge of astronomy surpassing knowledge of later cultures. The Pyramid of the Sun at Mexico's Teotihuacan lies at the center of a complex of pyramids, each aligned with a planet in the solar system. Etched into a high plateau in Peru's Nazca Desert, a series of ancient designs stretching more than 50 miles has baffled archaeologists for decades. Along with simple lines and geometric shapes, they include drawings of animals, birds, and humans, some measuring more than 600 feet across. Because of their colossal size, the figures can only be appreciated from way up in the air, and there is no evidence that the Nazca people, who inhabited the area between 300 BC and 800 AD, invented flying machines. According to ancient alien theorists, the figures were used to guide spaceships as they came in for a landing, and the lines served as runways. The Book of Ezekiel. In the Book of Ezekiel, part of the Hebrew Bible, a prophet has a vision of a flying vessel accompanied by fire, smoke and a loud noise. Some ancient alien theorists have argued that the vehicle's design closely mirrors that of a modern spaceship. Rather than a divine intervention, then, perhaps the text describes an early encounter between humans and alien astronauts. Pumapunku. Located in the Bolivian highlands, Pumapunku is a field of stone ruins scattered with giant, finely carved blocks. Such precise workmanship on a massive scale would have been nearly impossible without modern tools and machines, yet the ruins are more than 1,000 years old. Ancient alien theorists have hypothesized that extraterrestrials with advanced engineering techniques created the site or advised the people who built it. Ancient aliens in art created in the 15th century. It depicts the Virgin Mary, and in the backdrop of the painting, a man and his dog staring up at a hovering disc-like object that is suspiciously familiar. And this painting isn't alone either, with everything from ancient cave paintings to Sanskrit scrolls all depicting alien life. A sighting even crops up in the Bible in the Book of Ezekiel. Either this is compelling evidence, or humanity has a rich tradition of conspiracy theorists. Aliens in cave paintings. Perhaps the best evidence of ancient aliens can be found in the ancient cave paintings around the world. Hundreds of unexplained images have been discovered on every continent, and many of these clearly represent alien creatures, alien spacecrafts, and other unexplained objects, or out-of-place technology. Are alien artifacts in our solar system? NASA have recently suggested the possibility of alien artifacts being found within our solar system. Recent advances in deep space observation now means it is now not only possible to locate small objects a few feet wide, but also detect radio or electrical pulses emitted from the object. The above unknown visitor came from deep space. It passed nearly as close to the Earth as the Moon on May 21st. Its spectrum didn't match any known asteroid. At a feeble absolute magnitude of plus 28.9, the traveler must have only been about the size of a truck. The detection is tantalizing, nevertheless, because we can identify space objects down to a few feet across. That's the scale of what you might expect any alien probe might be, assuming their technology is comparable to ours. Forget about those huge motherships in the 1996 film Independence Day. The fuel costs are astronomical. On the hypothesis that we might have been visited long ago, could there be alien artifacts left behind, perhaps abandoned in solar orbit alongside our own space junk? The fact that we haven't found anything yet makes it clear that any visiting aliens didn't do anything obvious to say they came by. But I can make a few cautious extrapolations from how they might have conducted the exploration of our solar system, that is, if they think like we do. First, we have to assume there is a nearby extraterrestrial civilization that is inquisitive enough to invest the resources into building interstellar probes. They first identified Earth as inhabited in telescopic surveys, then they wanted to know what lives here. Given the extreme physics of interstellar travel, answering the question is no small expense. Secondly, these probes are built purely for data collection and beaming findings to their home planet. They are the mechanical equivalent of Lewis and Clark, with the intelligence to self-reprogram their mission depending on what they discover. A probe's mission is not to plant the flag of Zork on top of the US Capitol or make direct contact such as "Greetings from the Zeta Reticulans. How are you?" In a paper published in the 1960s, Carl Sagan, using the Drake equation, statistically estimated that Earth might be visited every few tens of thousands of years by an extraterrestrial civilization. Ancient alien evidence, Ural relief map. As they were supposedly situated in an area central to his study, a remote village named Chandar, the southern Urals, he thought the stones could be of Chinese origin and organized a team and helicopter to try and locate them. After several searches and village hopping in his helicopter, he could find no trace of the elusive stones. It was then that a village elder approached him and asked him to take a look at a strange slab he found in his backyard. A geological test of the slab concluded that it consisted of 3 layers, the base being 14 centimeters thick dolomite, the second being a diopside glass unknown to science, while the third is a protective layer of calcium porcelain. Chuvarov said it should be noted that the relief has not been manually made by an ancient stone cutter. It is simply impossible. It is obvious that the stone was machined. X-rays confirmed it was made by precision tools. Interestingly, scientists believe that the map is actually part of a relief map of the entire world due to the crudeness of the areas around the map's perimeter. Soil tests of 400 types of soil in the area, in comparison to the ones found embedded on the stone, have allowed scientists to narrow down the possible location of other pieces to 4 specific areas around the village of Chandar. So what is the Ural relief map? God's discarded blueprint? Ancient extraterrestrial resource chart? It remains a mystery. The ancient Olmec civilization, alien connections. The mysterious Olmec civilization prospered in pre-classical Mesoamerica from c. 1200 BCE to c. 400 BCE and is generally considered the forerunner of all subsequent Mesoamerican cultures such as the Maya and Aztecs. The Olmec history also clearly shows evidence of alien contact. The Olmec centered in the Gulf of Mexico, now the states of Veracruz and Tabasco. Their influence and trade activity spread from 1200 BCE, even reaching as far south as present-day Nicaragua. Monumental sacred complexes, massive stone sculpture, bull games, chocolate drinking and animal gods were features of Olmec culture which would be passed on to all those who followed this first great Mesoamerican civilization. The Olmec civilization presents something of a mystery. Indeed, we do not even know what they called themselves, as Olmec was their Aztec name and meant rubber people. The actual translation can be read as rubber-clothed people, an acknowledgement of alien spacesuits. Due to a lack of archaeological evidence, their ethnic origins and the location and extent of many of their settlements are not known. The Olmecs did, however, codify and record their gods and religious practices using symbols. The precise significance of this record is much debated, but, at the very least, its complexity does suggest some sort of organized religion involving a priesthood or other world being. The Olmec religious practices of sacrifice, cave rituals, pilgrimages, offerings, ball courts, pyramids and a seeming awe of mirrors was also passed on to all subsequent civilizations in Mesoamerica until the Spanish conquest in the 16th century CE. Are ancient alien stories real? What proof do we have that aliens visited Earth in the past? The idea first gained widespread exposure with the 1968 publication of Chariots of the Gods by Erich von Däniken, but the concept has been around since the middle of the 19th century. A common variant of the idea includes proposals that deities from most, if not all, religions, including angels and demons, are actually extraterrestrials whose advanced technologies were taken by people as evidence of a divine status. This concept is related to the religious practice of a cargo cult, which can be seen in modern-day pre-industrial tribal societies. Especially during World War II, when indigenous people were contacted by soldiers with advanced equipment, such as guns and tanks. The cults subsequently attempted to obtain wealth through magic and religious rituals and practices. The ancient alien theory states that extraterrestrials purposely tricked the human population into believing they were gods, creating religion to help people evolve more efficiently. The Fermi paradox is the apparent contradiction between high estimates of the probability of the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of evidence for or contact with such civilizations. It has been proposed that, with the current age of the universe and its vast number of stars, if the Earth was typical, extraterrestrial life should be common. In response to this paradox, the zoo hypothesis has been suggested. It states that aliens generally avoid making their presence known to humanity or avoid exerting an influence on development, somewhat akin to zookeepers observing animals in a zoo or experimental scientists observing a study of life. Adherents of the hypothesis feel that the Earth and humans are being secretly surveyed using equipment located on Earth or elsewhere in the solar system. Charles Fort's unpublished 1915 manuscript, Novel X, describes how Martian beings or Martian events control life on Earth. Fort ultimately burnt the manuscript, but one surviving quote from it is, "The Earth is a farm. We are someone else's property." Pumapunku, located in the Bolivian highlands, Pumapunku is a field of stone ruins scattered with enormous, finely carved blocks. Such precise workmanship on a massive scale would have been nearly impossible without modern tools and machines, yet the ruins are more than 1,000 years old. Ancient alien theorists have hypothesized that extraterrestrials with advanced engineering techniques created the site or advised the people who built it. The stones of Pumapunku are made up of granite and diorite, and the only stone harder is diamond. Not only were these stones really hard to cut, but they were also extremely heavy. One of these stones weighs 800 tons. The Nazca Lines, located in South America, etched into a high plateau in Peru's Nazca Desert, a series of ancient designs stretching more than 50 miles has baffled archaeologists for decades. Along with simple lines and geometric shapes, they include drawings of animals, birds, and humans, some measuring more than 600 feet across. Because of their colossal size, the figures can only be appreciated from way up in the air, and there is no evidence that the Nazca people, who inhabited the area between 300 BC and 800 AD, invented flying machines. According to ancient alien theorists, the figures were used to guide spaceships as they came in for a landing, and the lines served as runways. Ancient aliens, all the evidence reviewed. There is evidence that suggests we experienced 20th century alien contact. In 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles involved the US military and air defense allegedly fighting a UFO. World War II Allied Air Force planes were buzzed by balls of light that some think could have been extraterrestrial. And the alleged crash of a flying saucer in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 propelled the world into the age of UFOs. For decades, some people have been searching for the sounds of extraterrestrial intelligence, while others have been sending messages out into deep space. What would happen if aliens answered or came calling? What protocols exist to determine who would speak on behalf of mankind, and how might we communicate? What happens if they return? Some believe they already have. Close Encounters reports of encounters with strange beings and sightings of mysterious objects in the sky have occurred throughout history. A 13th century historical book, Otia Imperialia, includes an account of a creature descending from a flying craft over Bristol, England. The log from Christopher Columbus's first voyage to America contains a report of strange lights in the sky. Medieval art pieces depict disc-shaped objects floating in the heavens. Sightings of flying cigar-shaped crafts were reported during the Black Plague. And there were even discussions of extraterrestrial life among America's founding fathers. Could these sightings, coming from every part of the world, from biblical times to present day, be evidence that aliens have been with us all along? Who are these visitors? If ancient aliens visited Earth, who were they, and where did they come from? Possible historic evidence and beliefs are examined around the world. The Dogon people possess knowledge of a galaxy they claim was given to them by a star god named Amma. The Hopi and Zuni people celebrate Kachinas, gods from the sky, whose headdresses and costumes appear to resemble modern helmets and protective clothing. Halfway around the world, Chinese legends tell of the Han leader, Huangdi, arriving on Earth on a flying, yellow dragon. Was this dragon more likely a spacecraft? Ancient astronaut theorists believe that these are far from chance encounters and that extraterrestrials not only interacted with us, but changed the course of human history. The evidence if ancient aliens visited Earth, what was their legacy, and did they leave behind clues that exist in plain sight such as sophisticated aircraft, complex electrical grids, and intricate construction machinery? Indian Sanskrit texts, dating back to 6000 BC, describe in varying but vivid detail flying machines called vimanas. Megalithic stone structures in Egypt reveal evidence of precision saw work. Interpretations of the Jewish Zohar writings offer depictions of a life-sustaining man and machine, eerily similar to chlorella algae processing systems today. Are these examples of modern technology, or is there evidence that these incredible mechanisms existed on Earth thousands of years ago? Alien contact? Unearthly visitations, heavenly messengers, close encounters, accounts of humans interacting with celestial beings have existed since the beginning of mankind. Many of these encounters resulted in moral, philosophical and artistic inspirations. But did these contacts involve ethereal beings from heaven or extraterrestrials from other worlds? Are holy books the word of God, or guidebooks passed down by more advanced civilizations? Who told Joan of Arc how to defeat the English army? Saints or extraterrestrials? Could a young boy from India have learned advanced mathematical formulas from a Hindu goddess? What message did an American serviceman receive while touching an alien aircraft? If the ancient astronaut theory is correct, then are beings from other worlds communicating with us for our benefit or theirs? Just what? Unexplained structures. If ancient aliens visited Earth, can evidence of their existence be found in the mysterious structures that still stand throughout the world? Inexplicably, megalithic structures found on different continents are strikingly similar, and the cutting and moving of the massive stones used to build these magnificent feats would be a struggle for modern-day machinery, let alone ancient man. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that the standing stones in Carnac, France, were used as an ancient GPS system for ancient flying machines. The recently discovered Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which has been dated back 12,000 years, has finely chiseled pillars that experts describe as a Noah's Ark in stone. Is it possible that extraterrestrials assisted primitive man in constructing these unexplained structures? If so, what was the purpose of these grand projects? Alien tech, superheated death rays, high-tech rockets, powerful sonic weapons, are these examples of modern-day science, or could these technologies have originated thousands of years ago? Is it possible that early man possessed scientific knowledge far beyond that of our own century? Ancient texts, folklore, and arts suggest humans witnessed disc-shaped flying machines and fire-spewing chariots. Could these be accounts of flying saucers and rocket ships? And if so, was advanced technology left here by visitors from the stars? Did mankind's quest to unlock the secrets of levitation, anti-gravity and laser technology merely spring from our imaginations, or did these ideas come from otherworldly beings? Ancient aliens, cave paintings. Perhaps the best evidence of ancient aliens can be found in the ancient cave paintings around the world. Hundreds of unexplained images have been discovered on every continent, and many of these clearly represent alien creatures, alien spacecrafts, and other unexplained objects, or out-of-place technology. This cave painting below is circa 10,000 BC and is from Val Camonica, Italy. It appears to depict two beings in protective suits holding strange implements. This is a tapestry called Summer's Triumph. It was created in Bruges in 1538 and presently resides at the Bayerisches National Museum. You can clearly see several disc-shaped objects in the top of the tapestry. A disc-shaped object is shining beams of light down on John the Baptist and Jesus, Fitzwilliam Museum, Cambridge, England, painted in 1710 by Flemish artist Art de Gelder. It depicts a classic, hovering, silvery, saucer-shaped UFO shining beams of light down on John the Baptist and Jesus. What could have inspired the artist to combine these two subjects? Frescoes throughout Europe reveal the appearance of spaceships. This 1350 painting seems to depict a small human-looking man looking over his shoulder at another flying vehicle. His vehicle is decorated with two twinkling stars, one reminiscent of national insignia on modern aircraft. This painting hangs above the altar at the Visoki Dekani Monastery in Kosovo, Yugoslavia. This painting is called the Madonna with Saint Giovannino. It was painted in the 15th century by Domenico Ghirlandaio, 1449–1494, and hangs as part of the Loser collection in the Palazzo Vecchio. Above Mary's right shoulder is a disc-shaped object. Below is a blow-up of this section, and a man and his dog can clearly be seen looking up at the object. The painting below was done by Carlo Crivelli. 1430–1495, and is called the Annunciation with Saint Emitius, 1486, and hangs in the National Gallery, London. A disc-shaped object is shining a pencil beam of light down into Mary's crown chakra. A blow-up of the object is next to the painting. Ancient Aliens 2013, Nazca Lines. New Ancient Aliens documentary, Unexplained Mysteries of the Nazca Lines. Eric von Daniken's theory is the most famous approach to solve the mystery of Nazca. He had the idea that long time ago visitors from other stars visited the Earth and naturally Nazca. At this place they landed. During the landing, stones was blown away by the power of rocket propulsion. By approaching more, the power was increasing, and the cleaned band broader. In this way the first trapezes emerged. Later the aliens disappeared and left confused people. Like in the modern cargo cults, they tried to call the gods back by drawing lines, figures, and trapezes. Never Daniken said the formations was made by aliens. He discovered the GGF mandala zodiac and the mirror formation and compares them with modern basis or poppy signs.